Columbia River is a tremendous asset that we have, and there's a lot of communities that would kill for this asset. So we appreciate all of you being here and your interest in the Port of Kennewick. What I'd like to do at this time is we have some very special guests here from the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation. The Port of Kennewick a number of years ago entered into a memorandum of understanding with the tribes, and we're very, very proud of that. We work together on economic development opportunities and support each other whenever we can. So they're willing to come forward. We have Les Minthorn, Woodrow Starr, Armand Minthorn, and Melissa Minthorn is here. But if the three gentlemen would come forward, I'd like to ask them to do a blessing before we start.
We just have a few words to offer today as we come here to wish the port and the community well in their endeavors. And we tried to blend with the port earlier with some of our activities to help and support the port in their projects. And so we're still working at it today, and we intend to continue to work on it in the future. The word for this place is called Sun Place on Wash, and it has a meaning, like everything in this world has a meaning and a place for everything. We all have a purpose, and so the port's purpose is wonderful with the community support that they're working on. And we just wanted to offer a blessing song to help the process. And with me is two board members that are on the governing body at the Umatilla. And they're both related to me. This is my nephew and Woodrow Starr. We're all family related. And so we want to sing a blessing song to give the community something to remember by, to keep the faith as you work towards your projects. And we know very well about the history of this land and the waters. And we just think it's going to be wonderful when you finish one project and you move to another. They call that progress, I guess, today, but it's never ending. And so this morning I want to turn the bell over to my nephew. He's our traditional leader in our community, and he can speak about the sun and the place here. Isimtuk is the word for sun and moon. And so with that, I want Armand to take the lead here in offering the song that'll mean a lot to you as you learn more about the culture and our involvement with the earth and all physical things. Out.
Everybody rise. It's always good when communities can come together. And what keeps communities together is when communities can work and also pray with each other. This place that we're at, this river, thousands of years ago, our people were here. Not too far from here, the Kennewick man was found. 9,200 years old. 9,200 years later, we're side by side. We work with each other. We live with each other. And there isn't any reason that we can't pray with each other. This land that we live on, this river here, it's a resource that we can't live without. We cannot live without. This land that we live on takes care of you and I. So today, a big thank you to each of you that are here. Thank you.
That's Armin. Thank you. Woodrow, thank you so much. This, Armin's words are probably one of the reasons I'm so proud to be associated with the Port of Kennewick, and that's the fact that we can reach out to others and partner with them on things that benefit both of us. So we're very, very happy to have them here. We're very, very pleased with the partnership. We've got, my name is Skip Novakovich. I'm president of the Board of Commissioners. With me today is Commissioner Don Barnes. And we have a pretty full agenda, so we're going to try to keep our remarks as brief as we possibly can. I'd like to introduce the elected officials and other important dignitaries we have in the audience, but if you'd please hold your applause until they're all recognized, and then we can appropriately thank them at one time. We have House Representative Larry Haler. Larry, thank you. Josh Lozano from Representative Dan Newhouse's office. Josh, I see ya. Thank you. Don Britton, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Kennewick. John Trumbull, Councilman, City of Kennewick. Mayor Brent Gary, City of West Richland, who I heard speak at lunch. Roy Keck, President of the Port of Benton. John and Dora Foster are important community partners we have here. So did I miss anybody? Any other electeds, or anybody else want to be a dignitary and receive a round of applause? Okay, let's thank them for their service. With us today, we have Commanding Officer Scott Kaiser, Petty Officers Jeffrey Knight and Bethany Fraser of the Columbia Basin Battalion of the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps. The Sea Cadet Corps is a cadet program for young adults, men and women, ages 11 to 18, sponsored by the Navy League. The program helps develop skills in leadership, basic seamanship, courage, self-reliance, and discipline. And these young people are pretty special. They're committed to being drug, alcohol-free, and gang-free while learning about military life, patriotism, and citizenship. We're honored and privileged today to have them join us, and I'd like to ask Lieutenant Scott Kaiser, Commanding Officer, if you'd please ask the color guard to present the colors, and then if you'd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please rise for posting of the colors. Present colors.
Present arms.
Please join me in the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms.
Retire the colors.
Thank you. Today's a great day for not just the Port of Kennewick, for this community, as we're celebrating not just this glorious spring weather that kind of sprung on us unexpectedly, but also the project that we're going to dedicate and cut a ribbon on today that's helping to improve boating and recreational life here on Clover Island and on the Columbia River. We're also demonstrating the Port of Kennewick's mission to support and expand opportunities for tourism, economic development, and quality of life projects within our region. We're recognizing the role that a destination waterfront plays in strengthening not just our local economy, but historic downtown Kennewick. And we're acknowledging many partnerships, such as the CTIR, that made things like this happen. The improvements you see here today represent not only a significant investment in time and financial resources, but a significant investment of partnerships. And it shows what can be done when a committed group of partners get together to provide something for the public's benefit. In a minute, I'm going to call up Tim Artson, the Port's CEO, to talk about project details. But before we did that, I wanted to talk about some people behind the scenes that really make stuff like this happen at the Port of Kennewick. And that's our staff. I want to thank Tim for his efforts in carrying out the direction that the commission gives him. But I especially want to thank the way he leads our staff and our staff people who are identified by the blue shirts with the Port logos all over the place. If you guys would just kind of wave your hands around so people can see who you are. And I have to tell you, whether it's in my service in the military, civilian life, on nonprofit boards or whatever, this is absolutely the finest staff I've ever had an honor working with. So can you give them a round of applause? They're the people that do the daily work for you that pay the taxes to the Port of Kennewick. So with that, Tim, would you come up and talk about the project, please?
Well, it's my pleasure to have an opportunity to address the group on such a fine day. I need to mention Tana Bader and Glema. She's on my staff, and the reason why I have to mention her twofold. One is she's put this whole thing together, and the other is if I didn't mention that she wrote my notes, then I wouldn't be able to kind of give you this one-liner here that I think is funny, but you guys probably won't. I can just tell you, like Churchill used to say, Tana has spent hours and hours preparing my impromptu remarks. Anyways, I'd just like to tell you that the boat ramp here has been in the Port's portfolio since 1942. And the Marina came out here, Metz Marina, in 1953. The ramp has served its purpose, but for those boaters like myself and many of you that have used the ramp in this upland area, you realized it was time for some improvements here. So we finally got the message. We're working according to the community master plan for the island that was generated, I think, around 2005. So this is kind of what you see here. It was done in two phases. We did the upland phase, and then because there's only certain times you can work in the water, we did the in-water work at a slightly different time. So really what you're seeing is one big project, but it was done in two phases. The upland portion, the parking lot, the restrooms, the landscaping, and so forth was performed by Banlin Construction Company. They're local here. How about Banlin and the subcontractors? Anybody from Banlin? They did a wonderful job for us. The upland portion was paid for with some funding from the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office, their boating facilities program. The state provided $238,000 for the funding, and that was really the incentive that we needed. You always try to stretch the local taxpayers' dollar as far as you can, and it was very, very fortunate to have the state help us out. And I think you're going to be hearing a little bit more about the RCO program a little bit later. The in-water work was performed by Big D's Construction, and I just saw Dwayne of Big D's. Where are you at, Dwayne? In the back there. And Big D's did a great job for us. We also had Ray Poland and Sons. They made the steel framework that is below the surface of the water, and then they slid in the concrete ramp panels into that. So the Poland team locally here provided some work for the in-water portion of it. So again, it's a really neat project, administratively divided into two portions so we could get it done within the in-water work window. I also want to mention what I call the Port of Kennewick team, and it's not necessarily all of our team, but we work closely with some of these outside contractors, so they're almost like family. First of all, Larry Peterson, my director of planning. Where are you at, Larry? He's in the back with the camera. Larry really was the motivation for this project to keep it on track, so I appreciate Larry's work. We have John Federoff of JF Engineering. John is in the back. He was the engineer. We have Chris Harith with Harith and Associate Architects out of Spokane, and Chris is not here today, but he's, like I say, one of the family members. He was the architect on this project. And then for the artwork over here, the Eagle artwork, That is an amazing piece of artwork. It came out of Libby, Montana, and the artist, I've met him before, I just know him by Todd, but now they have his last name for me. I'm trying to pronounce it right. Todd Burgett out of Libby, Montana. I don't think Todd is here today, but I think he has some maybe friends or family members here. Anyways, Todd did a great job on the artwork. There's a little bit of a story that goes with that. You see how the placement of the eagles, and that's really how they do it in the wild. Sometimes, you know, one of the eagles with the fish, they'll kind of roll over and they have a fight over the fish. We were placing the artwork. I remember it was last year during the fair, because I was at the fair with my family, and I think we had a nice ear of corn. I was about ready to bite into it. My cell phone rings, and I let it go to voicemail, and it rings again. And what happened was, they were out here placing the artwork, and several passers-by saw it, how it was going to be placed initially, and weren't happy with it. So as they tried to explain it to me, I was at the fair, I just really wanted to say, just handle it, just put it in, I'll be happy with it. They ended up working on it, and two of the workers from Banlin Construction and Barb Carter, one of the Friends of the Port, worked to get the eagles just right. And I mean, they did this stuff on their own time, went to their garage, cut and ground and welded on the things, and they got them placed just right. So it's that level of detail that people go to, people other than me, you know, and I get a lot of credit for this, but I get credit for hiring and working with bright people. So, I mean, what do you say? Dan Day and Jason Banta were the folks with Banlin that did a lot of this work, like I say, in their own garage, fixing things. So it's turned out nice. We've heard that some of the nicest artwork in the area, and we're very, very proud of it. Also want to mention Dara and John Foster and the family of Helen Minicky. They've done the basalt columns here that are the benches. They put the plaques on them. They've kindly donated that to the port and the community. So it just shows the effort that everybody goes to. It's not just the port doing this stuff. It's our friends, it's our family, it's the community. So we appreciate all that. It's that personal stewardship. And finally, I want to thank the port commissioners for two reasons. One is they signed my paycheck, and two, they do provide a lot of leadership. And it's projects like this that cost money, taxpayers' money, but it's the stuff that you know, they step up and sign off on and approve for the benefit of the community. And it's, you know, working for folks like that, visionaries, the Port Commission, that really makes it fun for me and my staff. So I want to thank the Port Commissioners, and I am done with my remarks. But again, thank you all very much for coming out. Yep.
Thanks, Tim. Before I introduce Kayleen Cunningham from the Washington State Recreation Conservation Office, or RCO as we'll refer to him, I want to thank her and her team for all the work that she's done and provided for various Tri-Cities area projects. With their help in funding, the port built the transit dock at our Clover Island Marina. We completed the West Causeway project, which is right over there, with help with the CTIR and writing letters to the Corps of Engineers to help us with our permitting. Those of you that have seen that, it's used an awful lot, and I see that Mike Hall's here and Amber's here from Clover Island Inn, and they can probably tell you about the usage that the Lighthouse Plaza's had and the walkways had. It's a tremendous project, but without help from the CTIR, the City of Kennewick, and RCO, we wouldn't be able to do projects like that. That's another reason that partnerships are so important, and we value those at the port. The funding from the RCO also allowed the City of Kennewick and other jurisdictions to lower the levees on both sides of the Columbia River. They helped build the Heritage Trail. It's also on both sides of the Columbia River. They helped fund the Pocket Park and the waterfront path just south of us here on the Willows and along Duffy's Pond. And I just heard at lunchtime from Mayor Gary that they're funding the Yakima River Gateway project in West Richland. So they've done an awful lot of work in this area for this community, and we're very, very pleased to be able to partner with them to obtain funding that wouldn't be, well, that's necessary to do the projects that we do. Kayleen was appointed to lead the RCO in 2007. During her career, she's worked for 4 governors. She's worked for elected public land commissioners in a variety of positions and advisory positions. She got her start in Olympia serving as a legal counsel for several Washington State Senate committees. She also practiced law, provided strategic advice on natural resources, land use issues. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Washington and her law degree is from the University of Puget Sound School of Law. She was born and raised in Washington and currently resides in Olympia. So with that, Kayleen.
Thank you for inviting me to help celebrate today. I often get the chance to touch these kind of projects 3 times. 1, when people come in the door to apply for money. 2, when they do the groundbreaking, and 3, when they do the dedication. So I've been out here a couple of times, but this is really spectacular. I'm here as the director of the Recreation and Conservation Office. We're a small agency in terms of staff, but we're well loved because we give away money. Taxpayer money, federal money. We have the 5th largest capital budget in the state government, so lots of people like to come to us. As you heard, we've got quite a footprint here in the Tri-Cities area. This last year was our 50th year as a state agency, and we're one of the only agencies that was created by citizen initiative. And in fact, it was the boaters that stepped forward and they ran an initiative to create an agency to help allocate some of the gas tax money that's attributable to trailerable boats. If you take your trailer, go to a gas station, you're paying the highway tax, but it was determined that that really should be invested back in water projects to benefit boaters. So anyway, you can imagine I like to get out and see projects when they're done. As you heard, this is the 3rd grant we've given to the port. And I think between the partnership between us, we've invested about $2.3 million here, right? You can see all of it here. So that's really a nice investment. I was here when it was a gravel lot. This is really transformed and I like to see it. So when I look at projects that come in and they get vetted through our very transparent process, there are 3 ingredients that make an excellent project. One is very talented staff who are very assertive and very driven by these kinds of projects, and the port has some exceptional staff people. The second thing that makes a great project is that the decision makers for the organization have the vision and the commitment to invest in it. We require match for all of our projects, so really like to thank the Port Commission for actually having the vision and investing here in the project as well. And the third thing that makes these projects great is the support from your elected legislators, and in some cases with federal funds, your congresspeople. So next time you get a chance, thank your legislators for continuing to fund these grant programs. So with that, I would like to say thank you again. And we did a study about 2 years ago. We were asked by the legislature to take a look at what role does the outdoor recreation play in the economy of the state of Washington. And we were surprised to see what the investment was. People spend $21.6 billion a year in outdoor recreation. And probably for those of you who are boaters, it doesn't surprise you that boaters spend the most. Yeah, you spend a lot on your equipment, you invest a lot to be boaters, and we think it's really good to take that money that comes in the gas tax and reinvest it back in these kind of projects. So thank you.
Elaine, thank you. We appreciate your comments and of course your partnership, and hope we can continue to partner on very good things. So now I'd like to talk about another partner that we have, with somebody that's also on Clover Island, shares Clover Island with us, and that's the U.S. Coast Guard. Coast Guard owns property on Clover Island for their aids to navigation team in Kennewick, and in a little while they'll be launching the first vessel as part of today's activities. That's right over there to my left, and I'm going to ask for a shout out from the audience when they do that. We'll talk about that when it's time. But now it's my pleasure to invite Executive Petty Officer Chase Severance to share with you about their organization and some of the things they have coming up.
So I'd like to start off with saying thanks to the Port of Kennewick inviting the U.S. Coast Guard out today to participate in today's ceremony. The revitalization of the Clover Island boat ramp will provide waterfront access to the citizens of the Tri-City, along with the Tri-Cities will also provide emergency responders like the Coast Guard a quicker response time to assist the mariners. Coast Guard and Kennewick's been located here on the island since 1962. We currently have 8 enlisted members assigned to the unit. With me here today is Chief Machinery Technician Joseph Tenorio, Bosunmate 3rd Class Sean Childers, and Seaman Adam Lopez. They'll be launching the unit's 26 trailable aids navigation boat here shortly. Ant Kennewick's primary mission here in the Tri-Cities is aids to navigation. Our secondary mission is search and rescue along the Columbia River, the Snake River, and the Lake Roosevelt up by Spokane. In addition to today's ceremony, Coast Guard Ant Kennewick will be holding its annual open house on April 30th from 10 to 2. It's a Saturday. There will be a multitude of government agencies with displays, food and drinks, and entertainment for the whole family. So come on out and join us. Once again, that's April 30th. It's a Saturday, 10 to 2. In addition, National Safety or Safe Boating Week is May 21st through May 27th. To support this important event, Wear Your Life Jacket to Work Day will be held on May 20th. This is a fun, educational way to heighten awareness for boating safety within our community. So strap on your life jackets, including your inflatables, and demonstrate their comfort and versatility by wearing them to work. Once again, that's May 20th. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks.
If you haven't been to a Coast Guard open house, I've attended one or two of them, and it's very worthwhile to go see what they do and listen to how they serve this community. It's awesome to have them here on the island. Another partner that we're very fortunate to have is the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce. So help me welcome Lori Matson, who's the president and CEO of Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce. Lori, thank you.
I won't mess with your notes. I know what that's all about. So thank you, Skip, and thank you, Tim, and the staff and the commissioners for the opportunity to be here today to help celebrate the new boat launch and public amenities that were made possible through the partnership between the Port and the Washington State Recreation Conservation Office. You know, I was thinking as I was driving down here, during the past few years, we've been on hand to celebrate several additions and improvements here to the Clover Island. Several years ago, the Port built their new office, which houses the Port and some other small businesses. We've dedicated public artwork. The Yacht Club was built. A couple years ago, we were here at the Lighthouse, and now we're here at this updated boat launch that's going to help provide quality recreation and additional public amenities on the island. The Columbia River is by far our greatest asset. It enriches our lives. More than 3 million miles of rivers cross our nation. And as Kayleen mentioned, when we participate in outdoor activities, we aren't just having fun, we're also fueling our economy, in addition to our boat payments and all the other things boaters get to do. River recreation generates jobs in industries such as manufacturing, hospitality, transportation, and retail. The investments that the Port is making here on the island will go far towards bringing new business, new customers to those business, and increased vitality to this area, which really provides a positive impression to our region. All of these investments create an attractive waterfront community and new opportunities for small business. And you know, this is just one of the opportunities that the Port of Kennewick is working on. There are a lot of great things going on in our community. It seems like every jurisdiction has projects that they're working on. I think in the next 10 years we might not even recognize this place, but the Port's working in this area, and I know soon we'll be just across the river here on Columbia Drive, dedicating and groundbreaking and facilities there, as well as Vista Field. So the Port of Kennewick is just doing a great job. I want to commend the staff and the commissioners and thank them for all they're doing to bring increased economic vitality to the Tri-Cities. I also just quickly want to recognize our ambassadors. We have a group of 60 ambassadors, they're probably not all here, but they come with the Chamber and help us celebrate with our businesses. So maybe you all could wave your hands so we can thank all of the Tri-City Regional Chamber ambassadors. So thanks for being here. I know next we're going to invite everyone onto the dock, or not everyone, but the ribbon cutters. Am I doing that, or are you doing that? Okay, so we're going to invite the ribbon cutters. We've got ribbon and scissors. We're just going to step over here next to the dock and cut the ribbon. And then the Port would like to invite all of you to come onto the dock. Maybe we'll have to take turns so we all don't get on at one time, right? But we do have dive rescue here in case we need them today. So thanks everybody for being here today. And again, congratulations to the Port. I have a microphone, so I'll invite them. Okay. All right, so a couple pictures. I'm ready when. All right, how about on count of 3? 1, 2, 3. There you go. Congratulations. Thanks again. Come on down, and the Port would really much like to have all of you come down and check out the dock. Thanks so much.
You know, I had somebody ask me yesterday about when this was going to happen because they've got a boat somewhere here that they said they need to move. So I told them it was going to be today. So I hope they're out here listening. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, as you can see, this is going to be ready here in just a little bit. And here we go. Yeah, let's hope so.
I've only seen one boat. Well, you got the water, then you can drink it. And go up the motor. Well, yeah. And it was easy. I got almost 7 feet. The deep side of the shower. No, it's not the same thing. This one's 12 feet, this one's 18 feet.
Can we get our picture station again?
One for the post office.
There we go, the boat's launched. All right, again, we invite everybody up to the plaza for refreshments. I hear there's cookies and other refreshments, so I'm all for this.